The United States stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, extending as far west as Hawaii and as far north as Alaska. The country, as we know it today, began as 13 small colonies along the East Coast. So how did this expansive nation come to be? The early 19th century was an important time for westward expansion. American settlers left their homes in the East to pursue economic opportunities, land ownership, and the ability to live and farm freely in the West. The exploration of the western frontier gave these pioneers a sense of excitement, as well as the possibility of independence and upward mobility. The discovery of gold in California, a recent acquisition from Mexico, kick-started the California gold rush, bringing thousands of people hoping to strike it rich into the area, including many Chinese immigrants. Miners, railroad workers, and other entrepreneurs quickly flocked to the West. People justified westward expansion through the idea of manifest destiny, the belief that Americans were destined to spread across North America. It stemmed from the idea that Americans and their institutions were morally superior and thus were obligated to spread their values. Many believed they had the duty to uplift societies that they deemed less civilized, like the Native Americans and Mexicans who had already been living on the continent for many years. Unfortunately, this meant that westward expansion happened at the expense of other people. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced Native Americans from the Southeast into what is now Arkansas and Oklahoma. Their journey westward, known as the Trail of Tears, was a forced march where thousands died of disease, exposure, and starvation. As the country expanded, many pressing questions needed to be answered. Would the U.S. continue slavery in these new territories or abolish it altogether? How would people living on opposite ends of the nation, now spanning over 3,000 miles, stay connected? And how would newly acquired land be distributed to and utilized by the nearly 500,000 people who migrated west? The era of westward expansion allowed the U.S. to experience massive growth in terms of physical size, population, and economy. The country as we know it today would not be the same without the natural resources and trading ports along the Pacific that were introduced through westward migration. However, the Native Americans who were displaced and killed experienced the biggest consequences of westward expansion, and Native American tribes today continue to feel the impact of the destruction caused by American settlers.